Okay, the old Charlies, this is Aid from whichbike.com, bringing you yet another review. Now this time, my sequence of bikes I'll be checking out will be Tourers. I've got myself a sports bike, which you may already know about. I won't say it, just in case I upload this one before it. But this is, actually, do you know what this is without me saying it? Those who will know, will know. Those who won't know, probably will struggle at guessing it. This is in fact the mighty Triumph Explorer. Now this is the XC model, Tiger Explorer. Tigers have had well, fantastic reviews really since they came out, and this one's no exception at all. Well, a different kind of livery, a bit like that Cross Tourer took out with the camouflage. This has got kind of army rugged kind of look about it. Standard exhaust, got the wire wheels, which is unusual. It certainly makes it stand out. Single swing arm as well. That's interesting. Now the wire wheels apparently make the wheel more compliant, so when you go over a bump it's a bit softer because there's more give in them. So that's a bit of an interesting one. Now it's a heavy bike, there's no doubt about it. Wheeling it about is not fun. You have to be a little bit careful. It has got some decent guards though if you do drop it. You can see here, that's pretty sturdy. Big engine bars here. You've got a big kind of armour bit up here which you can replace if it gets too scuffed up. That's not too bad. This one's got the optional spotlights. But if you buy these new, you kind of get a nice kind of touring pack with it, which saves a bit of money with a back box and stuff. It's got an adjustable windscreen, but you can get a higher model for more deflection. It has got cruise control, so I'll give that a bash on a test drive, see what that's like. Probably a bit of a laugh. Never been on a cruise control bike before. If I have, I wasn't told about it. But it makes sense for a touring bike. If you're on a motorway, it can be a bit of havoc on your wrist. It's nice to take your hand off and just rest it on the tank or something, or hold hands with your wife behind you on the pillion seat. Yeah, really? Right, what else we got here? Well, decent hand grips, and what looks like pretty comfy, chunky, rear seat for the pillion. That's not too shabby. Now you think, look at this bike, you think, oh my god, it's going to be too tall. Now, it's certainly heavy, so shorter riders, as if they're not strong, might have trouble just wheeling it about. But actually, once you're on it, if you check, okay, the total skyline of this looks quite high, but if you look at the seat, substantially lower. So actually, it's not a problem at all. Well, let's take this beast out for a trip. Now, I've only been on one Triumph before, that was a Triumph Daytona 675. Ideally, in my stable of bikes, I'd like 3 bikes. I'd like a sports bike, I'd like a tourer, and I'd like a super naked bike. So I'm kind of making my way through all of them, so I'm getting a really good informed picture of what I particularly like and what I do and don't like about these different types of bikes. So let's take this one out, let's see how it compares to the Cross Tourer versus 1000, which bikes I have been on. See how they compare with those. Okay, right, back in a sec.
Okay, so here we are, trundling along. Right, first impressions. This is the most comfortable seat I've ever been on. Now, it's a, you won't be able to see it for now, but it's a gel seat. Now, I don't know if that as standard came as a pack, was just a single optional extra. I don't know, to be honest. But I'd certainly recommend getting it. Get it thrown in if you're buying new. If you're looking for second hand, make sure it's got it or prepare to buy it. It's really, really comfy. It's soft but it's supportive. It's really fantastic, to be honest. Right, now I've had already about 30-35 minutes ride on it. I just wanted to put the missus up and see what it was like with her on the back. I'll come back to that. Other first impressions, well, it was really, really wind buffeting, which was a bit of a shock. You know, extra, you know, more so than on my sports bike. Now what I've done now, I've adjusted the screen to its lowest position, and that actually might suit me. Last time it was kind of pushed out that way, and therefore it was, I think the wind in my particular case was shooting up and then came around the sides and hitting me. Now, this might be better now. But with these adjustable screens, it's very much setting up. Oh yeah, helmet was not probably here. Jeez, that's dangerous. Setting up for the individual rider, setting up for yourself. Some people are taller, shorter, wider. So it all makes a difference. Right, next thing, pulling away is really smooth. You know, I'm still one who tends to stall a bike here and there, but I've never ever stalled my new sports bike, which we'll get to. I don't want to say what it is, just in case this video goes up first. And this is very good, very smooth to pull away. Next impression was that the speedo and rev counter are very high up. You see them right there, which I like. It means you can look down at a glance of your eyes to see what's going on. Now, that's pretty handy, actually. One of those kind of looking down, take your eyes right off the road. Not only is it dangerous, but because you're worried about it, you don't really take a proper look at it. But that one, you can have a good look, and you've really got the rest of the road to look at, and you're kind of upper peripheral vision sort of thing. Rev counter, obviously got actual leader going around, which I do like, but I'm starting to think actually rev counter's completely pointless. I don't think I've ever looked at revs, to be honest. Except my head's down on a dual carriageway and I'm trying to do some serious speeds. And you're actually seeing it and watching it anyway, because you can't see anything else because it's fucking blurry. Right, other first impressions. Suspension seems pretty much spot on, and it is adjustable front and back in the most basic way. I think it's like high and low, and you just kind of twist it a bit. But is this adjustable? What else has it got? All the indicators are where you'd expect them to be. This has got the extra spotlights. Oh, I can't seem to turn them on. I think it was be pressing this button here, but it doesn't seem to be working. Maybe it is working. I've been flashing it all. Oh dear. Right, it's got a ride-by-wire throttle. What does that mean? Fucking no idea. What does it mean in reality? That it's kind of off and then it's kind of on, but this is progressive. It doesn't snap on. As you kind of roll it, it's, I don't know, it's kind of the opposite of snatchy. You have to give it quite a bit of roll on to bring it up, but it's extremely progressive. So it's just different to a normal standard throttle. Right, I'll stop talking about that because I really don't know what I'm talking about. Right, the wishy-washy woogie interface there is got a gear indicator, which I find extremely useful. And while I'm on the subject of the gears, just concentrate as I turn around this. I'm not used to the heavy weight of this bike. Right, the gears, they are the clunkiest, chunkiest gear changes I've ever come across. I don't know if you hear it. No, you won't better hear it, but there's a real clunky chunk, like a two-stage, as it engages, like a two-stage kind of click. And the second one being the really loud clunk. Now, when I first got on it, I thought, oh, bloody, that's not very nice. You have to give it quite a big push down or a big heave up on your toes, kind of change gear. But as you're going on faster speeds, as usual, as you'd expect, that becomes a lot easier. And as you start to use it, the clunk starts out a big clunk. You don't notice a clunk so much. It's really only in the first 2 or 3 gears. After that, it's just really pretty smooth. Now, however, I was thinking a bit more about this, and actually, I think it's not a bad idea, because other bikes I've been on, where one of the gears are smooth like butter, you kind of don't know even if you've changed gear. You don't know for sure. It always feels like you might have gone up a couple or something. Whereas this one, you definitely know, because of that you'd actually changed gear and the gear is engaged properly. So you could argue, it's actually a good thing. This is another good thing. Turn around bends. Yeah, that's a really low speed bend. Good hazard awareness there by me. Just saw the cyclist and nothing else. It's really, really responsive. It's quite high up, so you actually does seem to want to turn. I don't know, but it does go around bends very, very well. Look, no, hazards everywhere. Yippee! Where'd you take this shortcut? To avoid stuff like this. Must be something going on. Right, so the seat's extremely comfortable. It took me a while to get used to where the rear brake and the gear change was, because, you know, obviously it's just not completely different from a sports bike. So they're quite far forward, to say the least. But that's good, so once you're moving along, it's really comfy, because your feet are in the right position. Right, keeping on road position and comfort. As I said, the seat's fantastic. I'm sitting up nicely, I've got no stress on me whatsoever, and my body. Now, the handlebars, they're really, really wide. That took a bit of getting used to, but you will get used to it, so it's not a negative, it's just a pointing it out really. However, the only thing I really don't like is the handlebars are very far away. I'm on the nearest point of a tank here, you know, I'm really kind of riding the tank, and it's still, my arms are almost straight, and I find that it's not so great comfort wise. Well, okay, I mean, I'm getting used to it, and again, it's pretty something you would get used to it, but I just thought it wasn't that comfortable. I like my elbows kind of dangle a bit, you just feel more relaxed. This one I do feel that my arms are kind of stretched out, which might play a part in tension on your shoulders. Don't know for sure, I need to have it for longer, but I don't know. If I sit further back, I've got no chance, I can't even reach the bloody pedals. Now, another thing I don't like is the clutch lever. It's quite a long way out. I'm really struggling. I mean, I've got ickle fingers, but to reach the clutch lever, I've actually got to move my wrist over a bit to get all of the grip on it and pull it in. And it's really stiff. It's not the stiffest I've ever come across, but I ain't far off it. And this is an adjustable one. I've got it on the adjustable. I've got it on number 5, whatever, or number 1. I've got it's at the end where it's the nearest to me, and I still haven't reached for it. So I think I'd change that. So no great biggie. It might be fine for you. As I said, I've got quite equal hands, relatively speaking. What else has it got? Now, one big boom, and every tourist should have this. It's got cruise control. It's on the right here. Now, typically, you're going about 40 miles an hour. Press set. Oh, that's interesting. Now, I think he does it in 6th gear, which does make sense, doesn't it? As I say it. If I learn a vehicle. Right. So a bit later, I'll show you that. Because I'll talk about it now. Though it's a real boon, of course, because you're going on a motorway, for example, dual carriageway, or you're going long distances. And it means you can relax your right hand. You haven't got to hold the revs, so there's no tension. Again, even if you're at low down on the actual throttle at 6th gear, cruising along at 60 or 70, you're still having to hold it, which still has an effect on overall comfort. But you've probably all done it as well. Even when your right hand gets tired, you can't take it off. But in this one, when you're in cruise control, you can take it off and cut bike still going at the same speed. It's really good. If you're going up a hill, go down a hill, it adjusts it. And something comes up on the digital bit, it says the speed is set at 46, for example, and it might show 47 or 45 because you're going on an incline. And then it will come back to that 46, the way it will settle. All in all, it's fantastic. And for long trips, how good's that? For long trips, obviously, most of those you just take my left hand off because you don't need to change gear. But the ability to also take your right hand off and just lightly maybe just hold it for steering, that's brilliant. So that is on my wish list now of tours. They've got to have cruise control, and it's got to be standard, because paying for it extra might be a little bit expensive. But overall though, given my long arm reach and the trouble I'm having with the clutch, it's still a very comfortable bike. It's still a very comfortable position. Adding to that comfort is the quiet exhaust. I mean, I can't hear it at all. I can hear the engine because it's a triple after all. It doesn't do the whiny kind of whistly thing that the Daytona does. But I can't hear the exhaust. Now I think that's a good thing. Why are you getting aftermarket exhaust on a Tourer? If all you're going to hear is that is a bit of a drone. It makes more sense to have it really quiet. And then you can get on with the comfort of riding the bike with no distractions. So there it is, it's got a huge, great beast of a bell-end tank in front of you. It ain't too shabby. You see really low down. The bike looks like a massive thing. But actually, you're sitting quite low. Now it's such a wide bike, and it's quite heavy. I'm not used to it. I'm not going to start filtering through those gaps. I'd rather not. £1,000 excess on this. Plus, when I get back, I'll be riding Speed Triple 1050. That's a different beast. Look forward to riding that one. I'll be uploading that one, of course. Right, this adjustable front screen, I've adjusted it to its lowest setting, and it is definitely better for me. For others, they might find they want to raise it a bit, but now that works for me. That's good, because I was getting buffeted quite a bit, not from the wind above, but from the side. The wind was coming through the side of it and buffeting my shoulders, which I wasn't expecting, to be honest. His hand deflectors are pretty good. It's got heated grips as well. Oh right, okay, I can see now. The spotlights are in fact on, so I can see the reflection in the car in front of me. Oh okay, so just press it lightly. Just didn't feel like there's no click on it, I wasn't sure what's coming on. Oh, that car's doing. Right. Oh, one problem I did have was just turning at low speeds, because it's relatively high, and maybe the ride-by-wire has some sort of effect, but yeah, I was struggling a bit with the old low toe speeds. I wouldn't want to do your mod 1 cone thing on this bike. Oh, shit. No, I can go for this one. The good thing is, in this one, the mirrors are high, so you don't worry about whacking the mirrors. That's pretty cool, it. I lap. So either a lesbian, I'm going to that, or could be a racing driver, a car like that, maybe. Right, I'll just put the visor up, because it's quite humid today, even though it's not sunny. Right, let's talk about the pillion. Big comfortable seat at the back. It's about 2 to 3 inches higher than the normal seat. Now, I took it back home, and against insurance, which you shouldn't do, I did actually put the missus on. Which makes sense, doesn't it? Because that's the person who's going to go on it. So I think it's important to make sure that it's okay. Well, overall, once the bike was going along, it was absolutely fine. But in the urban environment of stopping and starting, any sort of braking, any sort of changing down, she kind of slid forward on the seat. And what she said was, though the seat is comfortable to sit on, when you're going along, she just felt she slid really easily into the back of me. There's quite a big gap there. She said she'd actually prefer it if there was no gap there, so she was kind of wedged in between me and the seat. It would give her more stability. She didn't like the fact that she was moving, and that actually completely makes sense to me. I'm sure it makes sense to you. She felt more snug, so that's fair enough. She liked the fact that she was a lot higher up, so she could see everything. But against that, because she was so high up, it just gave her the feeling of instability, which didn't add to her confidence as a pillion rider. But that's something you don't develop. Now for me, with her on the back, and she's a bit heavier than me, with respect, sorry love, it was a struggle. I almost cut the cropper twice trying to turn a tight corner coming out the junction. My God, because she's so much higher up, and she's pretty heavy, and then combined with my weight, although I'm a lightweight, it was tough, and I almost dropped it twice. Might have caused a minor injury, but certainly would have been embarrassing. It might have cost me a bit to sort out any scratches there might have been. Yeah, okay, it's something you get used to. You kind of get to know that you've got to put a bit more beans on the slow corners, but obviously I don't have the confidence to do that. I don't know the bike that well, so obviously it will get better. But yeah, Christ, it did shit me up, flipping heck. And when you stop, when she was on the back, you know, the bike will naturally lean when you stop. And my God, if you go past a certain little point like this, you won't even notice the difference here, but that is okay. But like that, you still find the weight of her on the back just pushing me down. I thought, oh my God, I ain't going to make this. But I think that's what you put up with pillion riders. So all in all though, unfortunately, I like this bike for myself, but it didn't really tick the boxes with the pillion. There was too many things that she said which she wasn't that comfortable with. But then again, you could change the seat, she could change what she was wearing to give it more grip. You could put something there to make her fill in a bit. You could put some sort of back pad on the back box, which pushes her forward a bit and gives us some extra back support comfort. But I think she was put off really by the engine braking, general acceleration. Now, I mean, I thought this bike was smooth, but her on the back, it transforms it, and it didn't really work as a pillion, and that's the point of getting it. So that might be, unfortunately,
her nail in the coffin for this bike is my Tourer, because she has to feel really 100% on it. The good thing is, at least she went out on it, so at least the overall experience wasn't too shabby. So in principle, she does like the idea of getting on her back, which is a step in the right direction, which she never did do. So interesting. I'm a bit disappointed that this bike really didn't kind of tick those boxes. So I'm interested to see what she thinks about the Cross Tourer, the Cross Runner, or the Versus 1000 that I took out, and see if she finds it any different. So yeah, I just thought I did want a Triumph. Then again, the Triumph could be the naked bike, and that's what I'm going to be taking after this. I do want one Triumph in the stable of 3 bikes that I intend to get, because I think it's every Englishman's expectation to have a Triumph of some sort. In fact, it should be mandatory. Got to support the old British makers. I feel I understand that. Right, so just quick summarisation of this bike then. The good things are, for me, the solo rider, for getting the pillion, the seat is extremely comfortable. The overall positioning of me as a rider on the bike is 3.5 out of 5. You know, it's kind of 3/4 of the way there, because the fact I'm sitting up is nice and the seat's comfort and my leg position is comforting. This slight long reach on the handlebars might take getting used to. As I say, is it really important? You know, is it really going to have any impact on my shoulders or elbows? I don't know. It's just my first impressions. You know, like first impressions do stay a bit. I've got carefully. It's a particularly dangerous place to try and move a bike. I'm in Guildford at the moment. It's always fucking busy. Actually, I better turn the indicator off. Put neutral first. Now, other good things, well, now that wind deflector is working. Other good things are clear rev counter. Even though it's a tiny little electronic speedo dash thing, it's actually pretty damn clear. You see the miles an hour ticking up nicely here. The gear indicator, although tiny, is perfectly fine for viewing. And you can see the mileage, etc. It's got nice clear lit up icons in a rev counter. At the moment I can see that my full beam or my fog lights are on, and that I'm running out of petrol. Oh gosh, I'm always doing that. Another good thing is it's adjustable suspension, front and back. Everything's to hand, indicators in exactly the right place where I'd expect it to be, which is good. And so far I've been quite good at turning it off on the whole. It's easy to do it. On my sports bike, for example, it's quite a bit further away. Let's give it a bit of Scooby-Doo around here. Well, I've got to remember this is a bit wider than the usual. Yes, that was a bit close. That Range Rover did have a miniature heart attack. Should I get out a bit here? Yeah, that's good. So a bit of time. So now I'm getting used to this actually. The gear changes start getting pretty good, but it's still quite clunky wonky. In fact, at some point, initially my hand was really aching, my left hand, because of that clutch lever. So I was actually changing gear without the clutch, using the technique that the Rampant Rider describes in his video on his playlist on whichbike.com. So if you just go back to the main list of videos under Which Bike, I'll put a link up, you can see what he does. Yeah, it definitely does work, and there's no argument. Most people think it doesn't affect the bike's longevity or clutch or anything like that. Some people say, well, it wasn't meant to do that, surely it's not meant to do it, it might cause some long-term damage. I don't know. The jury rests. Yeah, just talk about speed. It's very quiet, which I think is a good thing, and it's pretty smooth when you're accelerating. So before you know it, you are doing speeds that you probably shouldn't be doing on the roads, because it's quite deceiving. So you just got to keep an eye on that speedo to make sure you're within reasonable limits. The other thing that's quite impressive is just its torque. It's got power from everywhere. Typical of a Triumph, typical of a triple, there's power from low res. And well, basically the rev counter at the moment is on the lowest possible way it can be. This is 6th gear, doing 35 miles an hour. So it's great, probably great for fuel economy this actually.
If I put some beans on, yeah, it comes power coming in straight away. That's from 6th gear, from nothing. Look at that. I mean, you could stay in 6th gear and never even change it. It's just got power everywhere. So you don't have to change that gear that much. I mean, you could probably keep it 4th now and stay in 4th in an urban environment. Only go down to 2nd or 1st if you come to a stop. That's 1st gear now. Clunk up the 2nd, which always happens. Another clunk up the 3rd. I haven't got any gas on. That doesn't help. So there's quite a lot to like about this bike. What I don't like, also the clutch lever, I'll get that changed, but I imagine everybody else there watching this will be fine because they'll have bigger hands. What don't I like? What don't I like? Well, that the handlebars for me seem a bit far away. So I feel like it's a bit of a stretch. Now there's not one might fuck me. I'll be fine with that. I'm just finding a little bit of a struggle. With a noddy. He's on a try it. It's just come from the same place. Well, that's probably all I really don't like about it, actually. I'm a bit nonplussed on looks. It's not like the looks are kind of, wow, look at that. Which I did find a bit with the Versys 1000, that beautiful Kawasaki metallically orange colour. I thought overall that bike was better looking, but I think that colour and the matching panniers kind of helped kind of finish it all off. I mean, at this kind of class of bike, looks aren't as important, I would suggest, than they are when you're buying a sports bike or a naked, because this probably is more about form and function. Yeah, not form, but more about function. You know what it does, how comfortable it is for longer journeys. You know, you're buying this for a different thing altogether, so it looks becomes less of a factor. I mean, for myself, you know, I still got to be comfortable with it. I wouldn't get it this colour myself. Well, it's pretty windy today, so hopefully you can hear me all right. Well, I'm not exactly booting it, am I? Alright, on the bike. Let's take the Triumph out. No, it's got a BMW. Maybe he's thinking of getting one of these. It's just come from there anyway. Yeah, okie dokie. Well, I'll probably leave it there really. All in all, it's definitely a good bike. Definitely a bike suitable for touring. Maybe for slightly bigger people than me all round. Then your elbows will be bent. Clutch lever will be fine. Everything else will be fine. So I don't know. But I think for shorter, small-handed people, it's just a little bit of a tougher proposition. And I weighed that up with the fact that my wife didn't really get on with this as a pillion. It's probably end day, it's a showstopper for me getting this bike. So then again, she might find out the same with all of them, because she's just inherently uncomfortable, a bit weary of being a pillion on a motorbike. So she says that's the same thing on a cross runner, cross tourer, V-Strom, which I want to look at, I haven't been yet, and Z1000, no sorry, the Versys 1000. No, actually it's her, not the bike. This will put this back in the frame. So overall I quite like it. So yeah, great, okay, so I'll leave it there. So safe riding. Remember to like, subscribe, and visit the whichbike.com main site. Take part in a forum, help others out. We've got a load of questions, and just tell us out your own bike experiences. It'll be a pleasure to see you on there. As always, thanks for the support. Safe riding. This is Aid signing out. Take care.